Governor, what do you make of Bill Clinton's comments on this, and of course your reaction to the fact that the electors voted as they expected for Donald Trump?
Well, sure. I mean, Bill Clinton has to say what he said, and I think he said it with sincerity. But the fact is, Hillary Clinton needs to quit blaming everybody but Hillary Clinton. You know, the other day I said that Hillary Clinton, instead of spending millions of dollars trying to figure out what went wrong, spend $4, go to Walgreens, buy a little mirror, look in it, and she can figure out why she lost. She didn't do the things she had to do to connect to voters, and as a result, she spent twice what Donald Trump spent, but it didn't deliver her the American vote because people didn't trust her. And, you know, I'm hearing it was Comey, it was, you know, it was the Electoral College, it was Russia, it was everything but Hillary. And look, I've been a candidate. When you win, everybody else gets the credit, and they should. When you lose, suck it up and accept it. You know, you just weren't the best candidate you needed to be, and it just didn't bring the magic. And I think that at some point, people have to accept that we have elections, they have results, and they don't always turn out like they want. Yeah. Some of my elections haven't turned out that way. You know, the Democrats who keep saying, well, this wasn't fair, it wasn't right, she won the popular vote. Investors Daily did a great piece yesterday, and it revealed that the entire popular vote overage that Hillary had came from California. So my suggestion is, Hillary, if you really are so determined to be somebody and an elected official, go to California, run for governor in 2018, because they love you there, and you'll win in a landslide.
Governor, this is Harlan Hill here. Wasn't it funny, the mainstream media was saying for weeks that Donald Trump would have dozens of defectors in the Electoral College and that really his candidacy was in question. But in fact, Hillary Clinton had more defectors yesterday than Donald Trump did in the Electoral College. And so what does that say about the mainstream media? I think that they're continuing to stay in this bubble, and they don't really see the reality that the rest of us do.
They really don't. And you hit really the nail on the head, the bubble they live in. And look, that Hollywood video that came out with Martin Sheen and all the people begging those electors and saying, if you're a Republican, we'll stand with you. I'm thinking, yeah, right, we're really going to expect you to stand with us, because you always have. Right. I mean, it's that kind of nonsense. You know, it was laughable. I felt almost sorry for these people who, again, are reading a script that someone else wrote, and they're good at that. But they're not good at assessing the American public who live outside their bubble, who have to pay bills and who have to try to figure out how to make ends meet. And they're optimistic, and they have great hope for what's ahead, and they're not pessimistic that the world is coming to some horrible apocalypse because Donald Trump will be sworn in as president. Yeah,
Leah. So, Governor Huckabee, it's Leah Gabriel. You know, we're seeing President-elect Trump start to fill his cabinet, but we still haven't heard decision for VA secretary. And I wanted to ask you this because you talk about trust, and a lot of veterans got behind Donald Trump during his campaign and are very much anticipating who he will select as VA secretary. You know, I think it's really important that that person has congressional experience, that that person's run a major enterprise, and I mean outside the military, and that the person is a veteran. A lot of veterans are sort of grouping behind the current secretary of the VA, who's a West Point grad, former CEO of Procter & Gamble. What are your thoughts now on how quickly that selection needs to be made, and the possibility of keeping the current VA secretary?
Leah, it's a great point. And the fact is that Donald Trump has not named the VA secretary should not make veterans feel unhappy. It should make them feel happy that he didn't just rush to throw somebody in the slot and say, here's somebody who supported me, I'm going to put him in there. I think this is important. I think it's because he does take this job very seriously. And frankly, you know, it may be that Bob McDonnell is the right guy to stay. You're right, he has great experience, both military and amazing corporate experience in running something that is just behemoth, Procter & Gamble, and doing it very well. But let me tell you what anybody needs if they're going to be the VA secretary. They need congressional authority to fire people. They have to be able to hold people accountable. What a lot of people don't understand, they see these terrible things happen, nobody gets fired, and they don't understand that under the current civil service rules, it's very hard to fire a federal employee. It's really tough. We need to make it so that an executive running something like the VA has a lot more power and authority to clean it up. Now, he has to be held accountable that he isn't just throwing people off the ship because of his personal vendetta. But if we don't do that, nobody's going to clean up the VA.
You know, Governor, Politico is reporting that Bill Clinton said Trump knows, quote, how to get angry white men to vote for him. This was an answer to a question during a spontaneous Q&A session with reporters earlier this month. well, white men voted for Donald Trump. I don't know about angry white men, but and white women. 53% of them actually voted for Donald Trump as well. What do you make of that of his response?
Well, first of all, Donald Trump got more Hispanic votes than Mitt Romney. He got more African-American votes than Mitt Romney. So, you know, to say that somehow the only people who voted for Donald Trump are a bunch of angry white guys. Well, let me ask Bill Clinton this question. Why are those guys angry? What made them angry? Might it be that their jobs disappeared, their pensions were gone? Might it be that their wages have been stagnant and they can't afford to send their kids to college and their kids are living in the basement? Might it be that they see two sets of rules, one for the elites, like Bill Clinton and his crowd, and another for them? They do something, they go to jail. Hillary does something, she's ready to go to the White House. I mean, maybe we ought to ask the question, not are they angry? Why the heck are they angry?
Yeah.
Maybe they ought to be.
Well, one of the questions that I asked Jack Lew, the sitting Treasury Secretary, was when you see things like Carrier, you know, changing plans and leaving jobs in America, when you see things like, you know, Apple considering creating an iPhone factory in the U.S., you have to scratch your head and say, how come Obama never made those calls? So we'll bring you his answer coming up, because it's amazing what has happened even before Inauguration Day on Donald Trump's persistence about jobs.
Well, and I heard John talk a minute ago about what Trump needs to do. And I totally agree. That corporate tax cut down to 15% is huge. And let me tell you what that means. It means that a lot of people are going to get jobs. What I hope it means to the corporations when they see capital flowing back into their coffers because of that tax structure, which we desperately need. I hope Trump does it the very first week of his presidency.
Yeah.
Last week you had Ed Bastian from Delta Airlines. One of the smart things companies do when they're really smart, they take some of their really good profits and give them back to their employees, and they boost the confidence of their employees and their workforce. Do that combined with corporate profits, and you're going to see an economy that looks like fireworks on the New Year's Eve. It's going to be dramatic.
I'll tell you.